Hi everyone, it's Louise, and I'm continuing on with my bloom recipe on black base, and the black base is the Colorplace Onyx Black and Semi-Gloss. And the colors I'm going to try out today together are this Silver by Extreme Sheen Deco Art, this Aquamarine Treasure Gold by Folk Art, this pearl that I've been playing around with that's got golden pearl iridescent and Modern Masters metallic pearl white. On this side of the spectrum, I've got my Arteza pearl rose, and you've seen some of these before. I never can get through all of my paints, so I kind of have to try to incorporate them into a future painting, which I'm doing here. And then I have some Amsterdam, I can't pronounce this, caput Mortem violet. And then I have my Modern Masters in Venetian blue. So let's see what we come up with today. So something I'm going to mention here before I get going is after my projectile tile last time, I'm putting a piece of tape on the back. I know sometimes people like to put paint on the back. I'd rather not do that. But this works. The weight of the tile is going to hold it down, and that is going to stay on the spinner. So the only way it's going to go off is if everything flies off. What happened last time is that the tile flew off of the cup. So this should hold pretty good. Then with the weight of the paint, it should be good. Just wanted to throw that in there. All right, I'm gonna lay down my base and then we're gonna get started. I think I'm gonna go with the silver first, the rose, the pearl, the violet, the aquamarine, and then the blue. And then I'm gonna use two cell activators, black and white. And I'll put the white down first with the black on top. And we'll just see what we get. So I'm gonna voice over a lot of this and speed through some sections because when I got to the end of this video, it was way too long for anybody to put up with. So I am on my walk right now and voicing over to try to speed up time here. But I will note when I speed through, a couple of the things I pointed out in this section is my consistency of my paints this time around are a little bit thinner than before, but certainly not too thin, but they're all about the same. And in fact, when the result comes in, I don't think it made that much difference, but being the same consistency is important. The other thing I noted here is that I do like, when I do this technique with the blooms, or deconstructed blooms, I like to drizzle the paints down rather than stack them on top of each other, because I think that, at least in my experience, the breathing room between layers and some paints being exposed from one layer to the next helps in the way the bloom comes out and the paints are exposed. Of note here is when you lay down the cell activator, you should see a halo effect around it. Here we go. The moment of truth. Okay, Had my usual pitter-patter of my heart as I'm going through this. Now look at that. The silver went down first, and look how prevalent it is. So yesterday I did my first round of resining, and it came out pretty good, if I say so myself. Now, I did them upstairs in the bathroom where it was very quiet and no disturbances. And I did not have a tent, did not use a tent, and I know I should have, and I didn't use a box because maybe I'm just weird. But the idea of putting my resined pieces under a box, it's like burying them, and I just can't make myself do it. But I was really nervous about resining. And it wasn't that bad. Had the mask, the gloves, the nitrile gloves. It wasn't that bad. I'll show you the resined piece. So here's a close-up of one of the set of 4, and I'm frankly quite surprised I was able to do this. And this should be confidence boosting. Anybody out there can do this. It just requires some attention to detail. All right, here we go. And we're ready. I'm really surprised at how much that silver's taken over. There we go. Now we got the slinging happening. Yeah. I don't know what I think about this one so far. That's why you do test tile. I'm a little worried about all these air bubbles. Okay. There. I like that better. Okay, let me give you the close-up here, and then I'm going to clean it up and take it inside. So that's where we are. I'm not tilting it because I don't want it to turn. So I'm going to pause here, clean up my edges, and then I'm going to think about sequence for the next one. Okay, so I'm back for round 2. And I'm going to change the lineup. Now remember, last time we went silver, rose, pearl, violet, the aquamarine, and then the blue. This time I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Blue, aquamarine, pearl, violet, rose, silver, same cell activator. Let's go. So like last time, laying down colors, I'm going to double time through this to save time. But what I did note in this section is the opacities of the paint. Now this Modern Masters blue is opaque. The Treasure Gold, which is from Folk Art, is not listed. I don't think Folk Art even lists any opacities on any of their paints. The pearl from Golden is transparent, and the Modern Masters is iridescent. I start wiping my sticks off here because they are starting to get gunky. The next color is that violet, which is a semi-opaque or semi-transparent. I don't know which way you read it because it has this diagonal slash through it. Then this rose, pearl rose, is also the same, semi-opaque, semi-transparent. And the last color is silver, and that is a metallic, so I'm assuming that also is opaque for the most part. White. Now the cell activator last time with the white looked really nice because it showed the blue coming through it and the veining. It was really kind of cool when I looked at it later. All right, here we go. So I know I've mentioned this before. When I'm blowing, what I'm imagining is me actually skimming the cell activator over the top of the paints. So the paints are kind of rolling in the wave, and then the cell activator is rolling on top, like the wave is breaking. So the cell activator is breaking right over the wave of the colors going through. That's how I imagine it, and it helps me every time. Now, I know I'm not using the same pigments as some of these folks with the little piggies because I just haven't gotten there yet. But even with these old timers here, I think it turns out pretty good. You know, my thinking is to perfect the technique, or improve on the technique. I don't know if anybody's ever perfect. And then, once I've got that down, move up to the more elevated paints. My husband for Christmas got me some prism pour that I have waiting there for me to earn the chance to use it. So I voice over here to spare all of you hearing a little child screeching like the melting wicked witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. But I also mentioned in this section, and I'm so glad, we will be moving, my husband and I will be moving to Asheville, North Carolina sometime in May. We have a house that we're working on, and all of the background noise, sirens and screeches will be over. Yay! So here I'm just tilting the turntable just to get the bloom centered again. And I'm getting ready to spin. So in this section, as I speed through the spinning part, I basically note that I'm realizing that this color combination I'm not quite gaga over. And while it's nice and it's pretty, it's not something that's captivating me. But I continue on, see what I can do. And here for me, what's catching my attention is the blue at your 3 o'clock and the white at the 9 o'clock. It's just too stark. I spin several more times and do some housekeeping between the spinner and the tile itself, cleaning up the bottom, until I get to the point where I feel like I'm finally done, or it's done with me. So I know I've been told red, you're not supposed to necessarily torch house paint. But I just did a quick jab at it just to get rid of those cursory bubbles, because I believe that was a problem in the very first one. So this time, I'm changing my lineup again. I'm gonna go with aqua, silver, rose, blue, violet, pearl. Let's see what I get this time. If anything, we're getting a lesson in sequencing and results. So in this portion here on tile number 3, as I double time through this, I just wanted to note that I've deliberately broken up the blues from each other and the reds from each other. So in the previous 2 tiles, I had the blue and the aquamarine back to back, and I had the rose and the violet back to back. So here I just wanted to break them up from each other to see what the outcome will be. This violet is a semi-transparent color. I am really getting sloppy here. And pearl. Okay, white. I'm getting near the end of my cell activator here. That was a lot of white cell activator. Oh boy. Black. And the fun begins. Skimming, skimming. I got lightheaded after that one. All right, I'm gonna wait for the middle to come back, and I see lots of beautiful little cells coming together in there. Oh, this color combination is looking a little more promising. This is why you have to do a test tile, because you got to see what combination is going to work. You can have great colors, but if they're not laying down in the sequence that's going to make the best result, you're kind of wasting time. Now for me, I get this box of tiles that I got back in, oh, I don't know, May. I got from Floor and Decor. It was like $10. It wasn't even that. I think it works out to 4 cents a tile for my box. Can't beat that. 4 cents a tile, really? So in this section here, while I'm coaxing cells out of the center of the bloom, and soon going to be poking out some bubbles from the paint, I talk about how I got into painting, which I don't know if I mentioned it before, but basically a friend of mine from Facebook shared a video from Mina Villegas back in February or March of last year. And it was her Schmear and Bam, which was just unbelievable. And that's all it took. One video and I was hooked. I didn't think I had an addictive personality, but I guess I do. You know, it would be fun is to learn what everybody's story was that got them into this in the first place. And for me, it was just one video. Everyone's got their own story, though. All right, here we go. I don't know why. Maybe somebody out there who's watching could tell me. My blooms always end up off center. And I gotta tilt them back. Maybe it's just my thing. Maybe that's what I should just go with. But I would really prefer it if my bloom was in the middle to start with. All right. So as I double time through this spin section, I do note that the teal is really appealing to me, and that was the first color down, and that was kind of a surprise to me to find the teal being so prevalent as the first color down underneath the blue, which was opaque. So we live and learn on that one. I also note that while I'm spinning and then cleaning up and doing my housekeeping, while I'm, dabbing all the paint off the top, I am looking at the tile in the middle most of the time. And I do dab up all that extra paint so I don't have paint flying all over the place and making a mess. All right, let's take a look at this. Let me show you where we are. Can we see it? Okay, we're on number 4. I did just torch this just a bit, just to get get the extra bubbles out. And we're gonna go for round 4, and I think we're gonna call that a day. But at least you've had a chance to see 4 different iterations here, different from each other. So this time I am going with rose, aqua, silver, violet, blue, pearl. And we'll see what happens. Since you've seen me do this 3 times and I just listed out the colors, I'm going to skip ahead to applying the cell activator. Some other dogs are losing their mind outside the fence, so mine loses her mind inside the fence just to keep up, right? All right. Okay. Well, my blue really showed up. My pearl's in the middle. I didn't even follow my own directions. I wanted to go the last 2 blue, then pearl. I'm sorry, pearl then blue, but I went blue then pearl. Yes, I keep notes. There's my sequence, then my cheat sheet. So I do this because you have to remember what you did. And until I get really familiar with all these colors and how they interact, I have to have it written down. And that's why I started videoing, so I have a copy of what I'm doing. Six months ago, you never would have seen me doing this, though. I did this the video channel, because I wanted to be able to download the videos off my phone and have a place where I can go back and watch back when I wanted to see what I did. My notes weren't keeping up with me. And then, you know, I do what I did just here. I made a mistake, and then my notes weren't even valuable. So you can't argue with visual in an actual video. The video doesn't lie. Okay, I'm still gonna let this continue to develop. I'm gonna skip ahead here to the spin cycle to save more time. Still got more to do. All right, I think that's pretty done. Let me show you what I got here. That's where we are. So that's the final result on number 4. I hope you enjoyed watching. Here's the overview of the 4 tiles. I appreciate the new subscribers, and everybody, please take care.